You're such an asshole.
AssholeConsulting.com. Doing asshole consulting while away. Mr. Claire, I'm a repeat customer. I'd like to request a new video on economics and the effects of a cashless society, its positive, negative, and overall effects. Many countries seem to be moving towards an economy without cash. Recently, I took a trip to Sweden and found that many places attempting to pay in cash elicits the kind of response that attempting to pay in gold or cloth might elicit in the United States. Several businesses, even banks, flat out refuse to accept cash, and upon further research, I discovered that even lots of banks don't have cash, and people with large volumes of currency have resorted to hiding it in their microwave and other unconventional places. Negative interest rates mean that they'd pay large fees to deposit it, I think. Basically, what we would have with a cashless society is like cash becomes it's physical, and now you are encumbering a bank to store it. It'd be more like goldsmiths or silversmiths. You would, oh my gosh, it's the olden days. We don't have a safe place. We don't have mattresses to put it under, and bandits and thieves could get it. So you'd go to the dude who had the most arms, and he would say, okay, look, I'll store your gold, but you're giving me 1% a year. That's kind of what they're talking about there, where you're basically paying the bank for safekeeping as a service. So. And they would love that. They would love to do that to you. I've heard that a cashless economy would in some strange way justify negative interest rates, but it could be bullshit. Don't read too much into that. Just hold off on it. So I decided to call upon the world's coolest economist for the answer. You called Peter Schiff? And he said, no, now you're talking to me. Boy, Peter's pretty cool. Please let me know. Actually, Walter E. Williams. We're talking cool. Walter E. Williams is probably the coolest economist. I'm just the handsomest. Please let me know how much this video would cost. And he provides a link. Okay, so I did a little research and I had my own thoughts. And all right, here's the deal. I am not as afraid of a cashless society as most of the people on the right would be. And their concerns of, well, if all transactions are digital, then the government can track them all, and then it's a 1984 economy, and it's an invasion of dude, they already got it. If they want to, they can do it. Because that's kind of the state we're at now. It's not like the CIA or the NSA needs to track your cash to figure out what you're doing and what you're saying and what you're up to. They really don't. So I'm not as afraid because we're already there. Hey, it's a brave new world. What gets me with cashless society is just how inefficient cash is. And you gotta understand, I was a real late adapter. Like, I literally have only had a smartphone for about 3 or 4 years now. I came kicking and screaming. I'm surprised I'm even somewhat of a social media individual. But what I really adapted to very quickly was getting rid of cash and self-checkout lanes. And the reason why is speed. Now, this is 100% my own personal opinion. I know this may not apply to everybody. It's just the old captain. But I like my time. Time is more important to me than money because I only have a finite amount of it. And also my incredibly patient demeanor where I want to take a bulldozer and run over all the old ladies with their fucking coupons and they're paying with cash, or some fucking cunts even still use a check. They still do, and that's why I love checkout lanes, self-checkout lanes. Like, fuck you, it's the bachelor lane. Get the fuck out of my life. I'm more important than you people. Obviously, I'm more important because you guys are so slow and so mismanaged of your time. You're paying for your fucking groceries with a goddamn check. And so it's that amount of time and then the actual inventory management, because cash is a physical thing. Just talk to anyone who's a clerk or a checkout person or a bartender, and they got to do their tills and they got to cash out in the evening. That's at least 40 minutes, or well, depending on how many people you have, that could be a full 8-hour workday per day, spread across several employees that got to do their balancing out at the end. Then you got to go to the bank, and then there's the risk that it gets confiscated and all this. And I'm like, nope. Right now I face the problem like shit. I got to go to the cash machine to get cash so I can go gamble in Deadwood. I do not like cash. I mean, and to me, it's worth paying PayPal. PayPal makes its money by taking 2.75% of every transaction. Fine, here, take it, done. It's all zeros and ones. So, to me personally, I am all for a cashless society. It's just more, that again, I fully admit that that's personal to me, but not to force my preferences on it. But if we were to take an economic look at it, it saves a lot of time. Saves a lot of time, not just at the purchasing and point of transactions and lines go down and there's more sales, but again in that management of money and dealing with it. It will help economic growth, it will lower costs, it will make things more streamlined. So I'm very for a cashless society, and I will admit it pisses me off when I go and I gotta use a credit card to pay for parking. That really is annoying pain in the ass. But for every one of those, there's 3, 5, maybe even 10 examples where it's just done. Gas, you don't go in and pay cash anymore for your gas. You slide right there. You don't have to wait for people to be there to take your cash. You just slide your card. ATM machines, I mean, I'm sorry. It's just, you're talking about turning human tellers. It's the automation of the economy, the roboticized economy where we're getting rid of humans and replacing them with machines. Thank you. Please get the fuck out of here. I don't like humans. I like machines much more. So I'm for that, not only personally because it's conducive to my personality, but it is a good thing for the economy. But I am completely aware people want to pay in cash. They don't want to give it up. They want to have cash because they don't trust the government. I'm 100% with you there. But that's why I have gold, or not gold, silver. That's why I have precious metals. Because if the government's going to come in and take my money, well, okay, then I physically own it. They can wipe out all, and by that time you're a communist country anyway, and bullets are going to be more important than anything else at that time. That will be the real currency. So there is that. Now there are another main benefit of this is, even though I know the boogeyman government's out to get you, can track you, I understand, it does really help cut down on crime. If you can eliminate let's say you got rid of the US dollar, North Korea couldn't counterfeit anymore. A lot of the organized crime and terrorists would have to use something other than the $100 bill. They'd have to find some other currency like the euros or something like that. But if everyone got rid of all fiat currency, what they would probably do, I'd imagine, is they'd be going back for silver and gold. And you'd see an uptick in the value of silver and gold. It may come to that. It could be Bitcoin. It would be some other currency that is not under the control of a government. A reliable, stable one, quote, stable, United States. It would go back to these commodity currencies, these things that have actual intrinsic value unto themselves, that I think these terrorists, criminal organization, mafia, organized crime, etc., they'd start resorting to that. Or they'll take payment in trade, something like that. And here's the thing. You're not going to necessarily stop the crime, not even slow it down. You may just diversify it. I wouldn't be surprised if organized crime came up with their own digital currency saying, yeah, here's mafioso bucks. They'll call them the mafiosos. And 5 mafiosos that are it's backed up by the full faith and currency of the organized mob in New York. And a whore goes for 5 mafiosos. You pay. Seriously, you could do it. Italian bankers did back in Venice. It's like, hey, our banknotes, it's the same thing. And you know what? When you look at drugs, booze, and vice, and sex, that's all that gives currency any value anyway. That's why civilization was built. So the mafia, once again, the private sector, the unregulated private sector, may be a wee bit more efficient, may not even stop them. They could go out and print whole their own new currencies. But if the mafia wants to hire me, I will consult and advise for 1 million mafiosos. I will set it up. What was his estate? His estate was worth about 3 million mafiosos, so that's a good deal. Yeah, it was. Where are they? I don't know. I can't tell you. So it would make it temporarily a lot harder for criminals to operate until they found a new system by which they would operate. But it's a way to crack down on organized crime and terrorists. What else? The only thing I'd really be worried about is that they start making cash illegal. Like, you can't use cash. Then that's an ominous sign of something really bad. Like, there should always be a little bit of cash what are you going to do? Go to the flea market and have Tilly sell her used beads have a little swipey thing? I mean, come on. There should always be a little bit of room for cash. Again, like, I want to go gambling. You're going to have to swipe the fucking card all the time. You got to pay for a cover charge. Sometimes you go to some small Wyoming bar and you just want to get hammered for $5. You need $5. They're not going to take a credit card. So that would be my concern if they start making cash illegal. But the final point I'll make, and this goes beyond that the government can fucking hunt you down if they want to. We're already pretty much at a cashless society. If you look at the vast majority of transactions in terms of dollar volume, or any foreign currency, euro volume, your mortgages, do you actually go into the bank and pay, $250,000 for your house? Do you actually borrow $40,000 from the bank and then go give it to the car dealer? I don't know what it was, but this was 20 years ago, like 75-80% of the transactions were done digitally anyway. It was all electronic, it was all paper. Now, I guarantee you it's even more. I wouldn't be surprised if 95-98% of total US dollar volume transactions are not done in cash. They're done over credit cards, they're done through contracts, they're done through bank transfers. You never see the money. So we're already pretty much there. There's a lot of aspects of society and technology where like, well, geez, what if this happens? It's like you look back, it's like, yeah, we're kind of already there. We're kind of there already. So I wouldn't worry about it because it's here. It's already a de facto fact. Sure, there's going to be always market for cash and physical currency. If they take it away, another one will rise to take its place. But how the government reacts to that, either making it illegal to have cash or illegal to make transactions in anything other than a electronic traceable currency, that is what you'd have to look out for. But if it hits that time, it's already too late. And I hope you got a lot of guns. So we'll see you kids later. Toodles.